Another wake session, another strife and another life, and they blame it on depression.
Anyway, y'all go check out Canon Hotep.
They claim me under pressure. Another tripe and a suicide, we apply the same methods. It's like we never learned a lesson. We try to lie to make it better. Then everybody scrambling now trying to figure out what to stress her. Why didn't he or she reach out where the world wasn't helping? Why couldn't he find just a peace of mind, let the world get the best of him? They call it mental health in this. It's so weird when it comes to depression and suicide. These self-help sort of gurus try to apply the same method with a one-size-fits-all, and it never works. What the hell is this? Another fool shot up a school and we know the cat was sick. And all these dudes want to blame the tube, that's stupid as it gets. Another crew on the teletube blaming gun ownership. You can miss me with that mess, cause I ain't never shot a man. And the only time I would lay him down here aggressing on my fam. And you like to make it much harder for me to protect all my land. Crying crocodile tears so you can just feel good at grandstand. Bro, you stupid in a trance. No matter how much you get to sobbing on TV, every single gun law is an infringement. Period. Look, I ain't just saying this just to say this. The state is a criminal, crooked organization. So you look like a buffoon thinking that you can save this. Looking to Big Daddy government every time dismay hits. These fools done killed 250 million men and women and children, all due to their ill sins over the last century. So why would I fiddle with them? This crap is not meant for me. Let that power get reeled in. They act like I can't govern myself, so they keep running for help, begging the state to monitor wealth. And you'll get thrown in a cell, deviate, they throw you in jail. Maybe you the one that's crazy with that bad mental health. So I think you really should back up. Man can't govern himself but can rule over everyone else. That don't even add up. And every time I'm bringing this up to you, you get mad, huh? But that's the reason I remain fearless and pick this pad up. This ain't a gimmick, this ain't a joke. State agents of it is really out there ruining people's lives, and that's the source of a lot of people's problems.
No threat to our Hotep, especially when the Hotep got the goddess. Mask off, he's working his ass off, trying to tell y'all goofy dudes what they planning. It's Hotep, Hotep, hope you motherfuckers understand. It's Hotep, Hotep, hope you motherfuckers understand. No threat to our Hotep, especially when the Hotep got the goddess. Mask off, he's working his ass off, trying to tell y'all goofy dudes what they planning. It's Hotep, Hotep, hope you motherfuckers understand. It's Hotep, Hotep, hope you motherfuckers understand.
What's up? What's up? What's up? Happy Sunday. Happy Sunday. Welcome to Canon Speaks. I am Canon Hotep. I'm happy you could join me. Man. So the U.S. marks the 21st anniversary of that day in September. How about that? How about that? Man. If you're new, hit that like, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification icon, or let you know when I got new content coming out. Please hit the share button. Please, guys, let them know that we live. Hit that share button. YouTube is whooping my ass in this algorithm, and they don't want to see a brother grow. They don't want to see me be great out here, man. I don't know what's going on. Anyway, but I appreciate you guys being here with me right now. Let's see what we got in the chat. We got another asshole in the building. He says, ironically, he says, salute. Ironically, I was doing downtime at EOCC Wintersville and watch 93 go overhead after the other live news reports. Man, we got Sauce the Prophet in the building. He says, yo, what up, family? What's going on, Sauce? We got Jabaria Judah in the building. We got Kamar Daniel in the building. What's the deal? We got Nerd Nash in the building. Salute to Nerd Nash. Marcus Speaks. What's going on? He says, what up, Cannon? We got what's up, Ahmad, man? Long time, man. I'm happy you jumped back in. We got Natasha Kayleen. What's going on? Anyway, so I wanted to jump on, right? Because I've never done this before. And give my account of that day in September and what I was doing that day, right? So I'm not, I guess I'm a rather young guy. I just turned 38 on, September the 7th. And I remember I just turned 17 years old then. Hold on 1 second. There we go. We got a couple more people. We got Dalton Schultz. We got Last Name First saying peace. What's going on, people? Anyway, so I just turned 17. Yeah, I just turned 17 the week before, right? The week before. So, I was coming fresh off a birthday. Also, I believe we was coming fresh off of a win that weekend for our first football game. So I'm in school, and I never forget it. I was in English class, Miss Mozon's English class, and we sitting there, we doing the regular old, just the regular routine for the day, and all I hear is one of my teammates running down the hallway yelling, "We all gonna die! We all gonna die!" So I look out in the hallway. I'm like, "Yo, what is you doing?" He like, "Yo, cows, turn on the TV, yo, turn on the TV." So the teacher was cool. She was rather young at the time. I think she was like 23 or 24. So she looking at me, I look at her. I'm like, so I go turn the TV on, and we just see one of the trade centers on fire. And I'm like, what the fuck? What is this? At first it looked like a movie, right? So I'm like, "Yo, Jesse, what you talking about, bro?" And he was like, and then we saw the second plane hit. And we was like, "Oh shit!" And it still didn't register. Like, it was like, "Oh shit!" Like, like what the fuck is this? It still didn't register, right? It still didn't register. And I'm sitting there like, "Yo, is this real? Is this real?" And then the news anchor started talking. Dia Blaze, that's my cousin right there. Yeah, yo, I was in 11th grade too. He said I was in 11th grade in chemistry class watching it live when it happened. Right, exactly, bro. Right. We got Reaction PR in the building. What's the deal? So check it. So we looking like, oh shit. So everybody in the school start panicking. So this is the time when Nextels is out. Y'all remember when Nextels was out? You hit the little chirp, right? So I'm like, oh shit. So then everybody trying to call through, call their parents and stuff when they little no kids and shit. And people couldn't get out because it's just nothing but busy tones, right? So I hit, me and my sister went to the same high school. So me and my sister had Nextels. My dad bought us Nextel phones. So I hit her on her chirp, and I'm like, "Yo, meet me in the lobby. We out of here." And as soon as I did that, my father comes through on the group chirp. It was like, "Get out of the school now." See, my high school, I know that Black Mountain would know. I know that Miss Pinky would know because they from Baltimore. My high school was called Woodlawn High School. It literally was like a half a mile, if not, maybe like a quarter mile away. No, half a mile away from Social Security headquarters here in Baltimore, right? So that's what a lot of people was worried about. Like, literally, it was at the corner. So my sister, we running, I'm getting out to school on my Nextel. I chirped some of my homies because they was like, "Yo, we want to go," right? So the principal runs past me, and the principal stops, and he's getting ready to tell me to get off my phone, right? And I guess given the circumstances, he thought about it for a split second. He was like, he just waved me off, and then he just kept moving. So then my sister, my best friend at the time, Kyle, and my homeboy at the time, Joey, we all fucking get the hell out of there. We run down to my car, we jump in the car, and we go straight to my house, right? Because they didn't want to go home. So we go to my house, but then I didn't want to go to my house because my father's house shares a street with another federal building, right? So my father, he built a house, like it was kind of off in the middle of nowhere at the time, right? And then they built this big fucking massive healthcare finance building or some shit like that. At the time, I think it was called HICFA or something like that. So we right there, and I'm like, I don't even want to go to my house. Like, it's, you know, it's too damn close to that. So, cause you know, I'm like, all right, World Trade Center. What about the rest? Like, is there anything? And then the Pentagon got hit too. So that's why I was like, yo, are they aiming for government buildings? Okay, so we got headquarters for Social Security right here next to the school, and then we got the HICFA building right here next to the fucking house. I'm like, I don't even want to go home, right? But we had nowhere else to go. We had nowhere else to fucking go. So, we literally was in the house, paranoid as fuck, sitting there just watching the news, right? Now, when we left the school, yo, parents is pulling up on the grass. Parents is pulling up. Well, I think one parent drove his car up the steps of the parking lot just to get closer to the school. And you got parents running in there trying to get their children. It was crazy. People lost their minds. I got the hell out of there. So we sitting in the house chilling, and then everybody at my house, I think. And then once we got to my house, then a couple other my teammates, they ended up at my house too. So they had drove their cars. They met me at my house. We sitting in there watching news. So then my father come in the house like, y'all know you're going to war, right? They gonna draft y'all. Right? My father dead ass serious at this point. This nigga talk about they gonna draft y'all. Y'all going to war right now. I'm like, oh shit, come on, man. So my homeboys got paranoid, like, yo, I'm leaving, yo. Your father wilding. Like, your father wilding, yo. So we sitting there watching it, and he's like, yeah, you know, it's gonna be like Vietnam. So we still don't know what's going on, right? We still don't really know what the deal is and what happened, right? Because at first I'm thinking, once I seen it and everybody started tripping, I'm like, yo, what the like? The first thing I didn't think was terror attack or terrorist attack. I thought plane just malfunctioned and crashed into the trade center, right? Until I saw that second plane hit, and I said, oh no, this is intentional. And then we saw it happen with the Pentagon, and then it's like, okay, this is really intentional, right? And then we saw, what was it, Flight 93? Was that the one that hit the water, or hit like the middle of nowhere in Pennsylvania? Is that where that was? I think it was. So we sitting there like, yo, we under attack. So I'm thinking some Red Dawn shit about to happen, right? I'm thinking some Red Dawn shit about to happen. So like I said, I'm 17. We don't know shit about nothing. You know, this is way before Cannon Hotep was in the guns. I ain't know what the fuck was going on. My father talking about we about to get drafted. We going to war. They going to come pick us up and all this other shit, scaring the hell out of me and my teammates, right? And I remember just like, I was just tired of everything. So I just went to sleep. Then like, I think I woke up later. Everybody was at my house. We all passed out on the couch, right? We in the basement, passed out on the couch. We get up, we go to the local restaurant. At the time it was Bennigan's. Anybody remember Bennigan's, yo? Anybody remember Bennigan's? My man Jabari with the $5 super chat. Appreciate you, Jabari. He says next year we should do a Hotep Nation that day in September special. I'll start it off since I was the only person to see it in person that day. Hell yeah, that's what's up, Jabari. Let's do that. You know what I mean? But anybody remember Bennigan's? Let me see what else we got in the chat. Reaction PR. No, thanks. No problem, bro. No problem. Your thing gave me the idea to do this now, yo. If y'all didn't see it, go over to IG. Reaction PR gave his account on what happened on that day of September and what he was doing. You know what I mean? Jabari Judah says it was 3 weeks before his 21st birthday that year. Kamara Daniels says I was in school too, 3rd grade. They let us go home early. Came home and my parents had the news on. Yeah. Like I said, Dia Blaze said he was in 11th grade chemistry class watching it live. Rex PR says when we were gearing up on base, everyone from NYC got pulled out. Damn. Natasha says she's not sure where she was. Was you living here in Maryland, Natasha, when it happened? Last name first says I remember phones jammed for hours and the mood of the country was somber. Yeah. Then I felt sorry because White Rage came next. Oh man, everybody, yo. Y'all ever see so Jamie Foxx did a special. It was called I Might Need Security, right? So Jamie Foxx does this special, and he was talking about that shit. He was like, "Man, you got to give it to George Bush when he start talking about war, right?" And he kind of goes with last name first, is saying he says we're gonna get the Taliban, the KC, and the Sunshine Band, the Average White Band. We're gonna get all the bands and pretending to be Mexicans. I'm sorry, it was just a funny ass thing, but he's right. You know, everybody got super patriotic. Everybody was ready to go fuck everybody up that didn't look remotely Arab or whatever. You know what I mean? He was like, even to the point where the Arabs were trying to act like like they was Spanish up there in the 7-Elevens and shit. That shit had me rolling. They were trying to act like they. But anyway, but yeah, like you got to point last name first. So Jabari says he tried to join the army to follow him off. His dad convinced him not to. We got Hotep Jesus in the building. What's up, Hotep? He says Bennigan's was the spot. Hell yeah. Jabari said he worked in Bennigan's in college. Bro, come on. Yo, I miss Bennigan's, yo. I miss Bennigan's. They had this, like, what the fuck was it called? The Count of Monte Cristo, that deep fried, like, Cuban sandwich they had with that jelly. Yo, man, don't even get me started, yo. I miss Bennigan's, yo. We got Protocol in the building. He says, peace. He said he was in 8th grade. I was in the hood school that had a magnet program. The hood part, we ain't know. He said Magnet was watching TV all day. I found out by the one white teacher I had around 1 p.m. Damn. Corn 1699 says I was starting college, but had a late class. I watched it all on TV after the first plane hit. Damn. Jabari with another $5 super chat. I appreciate you, Jabari. He says my boy got beat up at Penn Station after that day in September because he looked Arab. He was an Indian Trinidadian. Yeah, yo, it was a lot of that stuff. Salute to my father in the building. What's up, Dad? I'll just tell him how you kept telling us we was gonna go to war. when you came home, all my friends, we in the basement, you come running here. Yeah, you know y'all going to war, right? They gonna draft y'all. Salute to my dad, y'all. I'll give him a Don DeMarco too. Anyway, but yeah, so man, but you know, all of that passed. We had like a whole thing. So that Saturday we had another football game, and I know we did a whole tribute to the people that died in, you know, the World Trade Center. It was real somber. It was real. It was a nice salute. You know what I mean? ROTC they did a thing. I think one of the National Guard or somebody came out with a cannon and did some stuff. It was crazy, man. It was really crazy, you know. And I didn't know what to think. I didn't know what was happening. Like I said, I thought Red Dawn was coming. I thought we was about to be fighting. People gonna be parachuting from the sky. I didn't know what was going to happen. But my question to y'all is, you know, one, where were you guys that day when that happened? Also, when did you start searching for the truth or searching for the unpopular opinion on what actually happened that day? You know, what sparked your interest in trying to find out what quote unquote really happened? You know, that's my question for y'all for today. You know what I mean? I know a lot of us, we watched, you know, I know for me, and I don't know if my dad remembered this at all. I don't know if my dad. Yeah, there we go, Ahmad. We were at my dad, his now wife. We were at her apartment, and she showed us the Loose Change DVD. Right, she had her brother came down with the Loose Change DVD, and we watched that. That's what made me start looking into everything, right? You know, after I saw the Loose Change DVD, I just start going down this rabbit hole. And at the time, though, when I started watching that, YouTube was fairly new. It was around, but it wasn't. You know what I mean? Like, it was around, but nobody really was using it like that. So, I had different friends that had these different DVDs, these different, you know, papers and stuff like that I was reading. You know, we had, yeah, exactly. I was about to bring that up. Protocol, right? Yeah, watching the Zeitgeist movie too. That shit was kind of creepy, but I watched the Zeitgeist movie. HJ said he was in college. He said class got canceled. But yeah, Jimmy says, good morning, y'all. I was a freshman in high school. Watched the first plane hit at home and then the second plane at school. I started looking when I realized the 2-part system was wicked. Way too late. I hear that, man. You know, Marcus says 8th grade math class on the day. You know what I mean? But yeah, you know, it was, you know, that journey, that rabbit hole took me down a lot of stuff, right? And I'm gonna try to tread lightly here because you know how YouTube is. There was this one, and I think if my father's still in here, we were watching this together. It was one where, cause like, it made sense, right? So I used to be a cell phone technician, right? And you know, there's something called a handoff, right? And when you're that high in the air in a plane, because the news kept reporting that people were calling their loved ones from their cell phones from the plane, and it's not possible. It's not possible at all, because at that time the technology wasn't that good. We still can't do it to this day unless you on like a Wi-Fi source, right? Unless you got like an iPhone, you can do Wi-Fi dialing or whatever, or Wi-Fi calling, or voice over IP calling. The plane's moving too fast and you're too high in the air for you to catch a tower, so you can't do a handoff at all. So there's no way those people called their family members from you know, that high in the air. So that was a red flag for me. So I was like, well, okay, if that's the case and they're saying that they were calling from cell phones, then they had to be on the ground. If they're on the ground, what the fuck was they? You know, so I think one day, it's probably like 7 or 8 years ago, I think, when I was like revisiting you know, the whole day and what could have really happened, looking for what's the word, just, you know, just to see what was out there, what theories was out there, you know. There was one video where they said that there was a stewardess or a flight attendant who called her husband. Her husband still had the voicemail, right? And she was saying, you know, I love you, kiss the kids for me, we've been hijacked. And before she hung up, you can hear her whisper, it's a frame, and then hangs the phone up, right? So then that shit was like, okay, that's very ominous and creepy, right? So then I found out about Operation, you know, Northwoods, you know. So I found out about Operation Northwoods, and basically Operation Northwoods was what happened. That was supposed to happen in the 60s, you know, with I guess with Cuba. They were going to try to do the same thing. And then I started looking into that, and then I'm like, well, damn, Operation Northwoods sound like exactly what the fuck happened on that day. And then I just kept going down rabbit hole after rabbit hole after rabbit hole. But, you know, you got to believe the official narrative, right? You got to believe the official narrative about that day. I'm sure that one day, yeah, thanks Protocol. That's right. Yep. That's exactly what they were going to use it for, right? That's exactly what, you know, it's going to be. You remember that, Ahmad? Yeah. So, you know, that was real, you know, creepy. But like I said, you know, cell phones can't hand off or make calls from that high in the air because towers ain't that tall. Signal can't reach that far. And the plane's moving at like 500 miles an hour. So it can't catch a tower that fast. You know what I mean? You know. Yeah, that's true, Ahmad. It still hasn't been debunked. You're 100% right about that. You know, I still don't think that's what that was. I'm sorry. I still don't think that's what that was. Like, I think that, in my opinion, that's the smoking gun, right? You know, that footage is the smoking gun for me. Simply because, you know, the lack of evidence, I'll say it like that. You know what I mean? The lack of evidence is the problem for me on that. Jabari says, I'm starting to believe no. Oh, is that right? Even the Manhattan CGI. I don't know. So what you think is what, you know, because you got the other theory that there was energy weapons, because when you do look at some of the footage, it looked like, because the towers fell in on their footprint perfectly, and it's like it was damn near eviscerated, right? Like disintegrated, like I don't know, like some shit out of a sci-fi movie. I mean, I don't know. It's a lot of theories out there, right? you know. But then you got, was it the Warren Commission? Was the Warren Commission the ones that did the 9/11 investigation? If I'm not mistaken. Am I wrong about that? You know, that's my theory, Ahmad. That's my theory about the Pentagon, though. What really did it for me was them saying that the jet fuel melted the steel beams, which caused the, yeah, exactly. That's what did it for me too. It was no way possible. It's not possible. But that it looked like the buildings, when you look close, disintegrated in the sand. You know what I mean? But you have that theory out there, and I mean, you know, you never know. It could come out to be like, you know, they CGI'd it and just blew it up, or I don't know, but I don't know if I'll lean toward the CGI thing, just simply because, you know, just the people that was falling out, you know, people jumping out of the building, you know, people jumping out of the windows, you know, before the building actually collapsed. So that's what leads me not to believe that it was just a CGI thing. I think it actually happened, and the reason why I think it actually happened is because Gulf of Tonkin, right? Now, the Gulf of Tonkin, actually no, the Gulf of Tonkin was a lie. That plane didn't, I mean, that ship didn't even exist. The Lusitania existed, and they hit that just to get into World War I, if I'm not mistaken. The Gulf of Tonkin was Vietnam, and the Gulf of Tonkin was a lie. It was the plane, the ship never existed. However, Pearl Harbor really happened, right? It was all to get into World War II. They allowed it to happen to get into World War II. Now, you know, there are theories that whether if we allowed that day in September to happen or we perpetrated that day in September, you know, we got the dancing Jabaris, for lack of a better term, the dancing Jabaris over on the rooftop filming, right? You got a lot of these theories out here. It's just, you know, it's interesting. You know what I mean? I can't discount any theories because it's been, you know, truth is stranger than fiction, right? So I can't discredit any theories, but simply because, like, you'll think, oh, that's nonsense. There's no way that happened. And then you're like, holy shit, that's what really happened. You know what I mean? We also know they got something called Project Bluebeam, where they're trying to do something similar to that with, you know, the aliens or whatever. You know, that's another interesting thing. Let me see. Yeah, you're right. They never found any of the black boxes. You're right about that. You know, which makes me feel like, you know, it at minimum, at the most, they swapped out those commercial planes, right? They swapped out the commercial liners for lookalikes. We'll say it like that. They swapped out the commercial liners for lookalikes, right? They grounded those commercial liners, and I don't know what they did with them people on the commercial liners. Y'all can use your imagination. This is just my theory. And then they used those lookalikes to do the dirty work. And I don't know if they, you know, if those people are no longer with us before they're supposed to be no longer with us or what, you know. I don't know. Maybe they gassed them all. I don't know. You know what I mean? That's just a theory that I got, you know, because again, Operation Northwoods is going to swap out the commercial liners with lookalikes, right? Last thing first says the towers falling like the demolition made me pause. Exactly. And then on this periphery, it's so tall, right? Those things are so tall. It was no real rubble on the street. Everything was underground, which makes me wonder that too. So my dad says, "Yo, you telling me the Pentagon got hit with a perfectly round hole that looked like a missile, yet no airplane wing damage, no engines really?" Exactly. You know, those are the questions that you got to have about that, right? That's my, you know, that's how I looked at it. And me and my dad was looking at it together, and we both came to that conclusion. Like, again, shout out to my dad in the chat. So Natasha says, would that be like the holograms Alex Jones says will make us believe we are being invaded? Yes, exactly. That's called Operation Bluebeam, Natasha. What happened to the 3 men recording the whole thing from the building? Yeah, so that was the dancing Jabaris, Ahmad. So I don't know what happened to them. I know that, like, I think some law enforcement or somebody, they intercepted them, and they were saying they were documenting it or something like that, which would sound real weird too. You know, seems like a lot of people know people that died. Yeah, a lot of people do. You know, I remember we had a kid on our football team, my man Homer. and he was distraught because he had a aunt that worked in that building. Luckily, she was able to get out of the building, I guess, because she worked on a lower level and she was able to get out of there. Now this is why I say I'm building 7 and over, right? So check this out. So, and then building 7 having a regular office, and they dropped it anyway. Exactly, regular office fire, and they dropped it anyway. So that building was away from the other ones, right? And people always try to justify why that building fell. And I'm like, you can't justify why that building came down. You can't justify why that building came down. Not to mention there was a guy in that building that got rescued by firefighters, and he gave an interview after the fact. And he is no longer with us long before he was supposed to be no longer with us. I think that he mysteriously passed away a week after that interview. Just gonna put it like that. That's true, Ahmad, bro. People die in fake movies. You know, you can ask Alec Baldwin that one. Yeah, collateral damage, right? Natasha Kayleen, they would gladly slaughter people without blinking an eye. Collateral damage, right? Last thing first is I worked down there. Those towers would have wiped out all of Church Street and Albany Street, Broad Street, and entire. Yeah, exactly. You know, they just had a fucking dust storm when it hit, but like it fell down in on its footprint. And not only that, like there was no real rubble on the street like that. Like everything was mostly underground. You know what I mean? It's the weird eerie thing about it. Jabari said I know a couple people that work underneath the center. It was a big train station with a lot of stores. I didn't know that. See, I never visited the World Trade Centers. I never visited those things. Only been to New York a handful of times. Never had the urge to even really go and explore anything. You know. Yeah, that was another theory too with the thermite. You know, that like was hot enough to pull that off. But it's a bunch of crazy stuff. You got, building 7. You got the inconsistencies with the Pentagon, right? You got the way the buildings fell, right? Those are all worthy to give pause to what happened that day and make people ask questions, right? Now, what they tell us, the official narrative, could very well be what the deal is, right? Could be very well what it is, right? And we all could be wrong. But the fact that they don't like people asking questions, the fact that they'll pull down the video simply because somebody asked a question or proposed a theory, or try to cancel somebody over it is ridiculous, right? So it's the process. I also saw this odd video of people doing some ritual at the site of the towers. I never heard about that. What up, Carlos? Got Carlos Africa in the building. What's going on? He says Kofi's up. Gotta get my man a Don DeMarco for real. Don DeMarco. But yeah, so like I said, what made you go down the rabbit hole to find out the truth, quote unquote, on what happened that day? I would like to know that. Let me see. Hey yo, Sauce, if you find it, send it to me. I'd like to check that out. But man, no matter how you shake it, there are questions, right? There are always going to be questions. Like I said, the thing is like the powers that be aren't beyond pulling some shit off like this just to justify something, right? Like I said, you had the Lusitania, right? The Gulf of Tonkin, which was a lie, right? You had babies in the incubator, which was a lie. So the Lusitania got us into World War I. The Gulf of Tonkin got us into Vietnam. Pearl Harbor's attack got us into World War II, right? Babies in the incubator got us into, I think was it Desert Storm? Was that Desert Storm? Yeah, Desert Storm. And then, that day in September got us into, that 20-year war. You know what I mean? Let's see. The owner of the building, of Building 7, was caught on videotape saying, pull it after that building came down. Yeah. Also, not to mention the news. The news had reported that the building was pulled or that the building was demoed while the building was still standing in the background. He said, we just got to report that building 7 has been blah, 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 and then it has fallen or whatever. And the building was still standing in the background as she was talking. You know what I mean? So it just seems super scripted, right? You know, they said building 7 came down with a fire on top of a fire on the top floor. The last time a metal structure building came down cause of a fire was never. Yeah, it's true. It's true. Dropping my baby off at daycare. Scared as, yeah. What's going on, Chloe? Appreciate you can join me. But anyway, like I said, if you're new, hit that like, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification icon to let you know when I got new content coming out. Please share this stream. Let people know we're live. If you're catching the replay, leave me a comment. Let me know, where were you on that day in September? And if you got any theories, let me know those too. I'd really appreciate it. But like I said, guys, there are a lot of theories out there. You know, things still seem shaky to this day to me. You know, and I know things still seem a little sketchy about that day to a lot of people, right? Like I said, the government ain't beyond doing any of this shit. Yeah, that's what I was talking about last name. The guy that got rescued from Building 7, and then he gave the interview, and then he wasn't here no more. Yep, I do. Yeah, exactly. The black guy. Yep. So, like I said, guys, don't always believe. Believe half of what you see and none of what you hear. You know what I mean? Believe half of what you see and none of what you hear. My man Jabari with another $5 super chat. I appreciate you, Jabari. Larry, the WTC landowner took out 2 separate insurance policies on both buildings 2 weeks before. Oh my goodness gracious! Are you serious, bro? Damn, how much? One. You said one for both. That's crazy. I know he made a mint. Jeez, that's crazy. I forgot about that too. I know he made a mint. You're right. Not to mention wasn't one of the alphabet agencies being questioned about some missing money a day like that was supposedly the records were at certain locations. That's before, the couple of days before that happened, or a day before that happened, which was real interesting as well. Yeah, I'm sure he got a huge insurance. I can only imagine how much money he got from that. But like I said, guys, believe half of what you see and none of what you hear. And I can't even say that anymore, because the way they're doing stuff right now is like you can't believe anything of what you hear, and you damn near can't believe anything you see anymore. Right? Powers that be, Operation Mockingbird is still in full effect. I don't care what nobody say. They control the narrative. You know what I mean? And we see how they do it now. You see the sheep now, where they believe everything CNN and MSNBC and all those people say. Even Fox News puts out some misinformation every now and again. It's just how it is. You know what I mean? That's right. Yeah. Charlie Indigo Alpha with the 5 trillion that was missing. Yeah. What also made it interesting was how fast they cleaned up after. Yeah, that was crazy. You know what I mean? No, they didn't let anybody study nothing, bro. They couldn't do that. Like I said, guys, we can't even believe anything anymore. You know what I mean? Unless you do the research for yourself. So like what I do is I'll watch the CNN, I'll watch MSNBC, I'll watch Fox News, I'll watch Newsmax, and then I'll go and I'll watch somebody like Jones, and then then I'll look at my own commonsensical take on it, and then I'll come up with my own theory or whatever what I think might have happened. You know what I mean? Unless I see it live, and then that's what it is. Says if it can't be physically obtained or touched, it probably didn't happen. I mean, it's just it's tough to it's crazy, right? But anyway, I just want to give you guys my accounts of that day, and just to hear what you guys had to say about it. 21 years since that happened, and I guess we not over there no more. Are we still over there? I don't know, but all I know is that they pulled all them soldiers out of where were they at? Was it Afghanistan? Left all them weapons and shit over there. I think it's still, and they left a lot of people over there as well. But they pull out of there, and then now they're trying to get this whole Russia-Ukraine thing jamming. They want a forever war, people. They want a forever war. Eisenhower warned us before he left office, beware of the military-industrial complex. He said this shit right before he left office. And everybody thought he was a crazy old man. Now everybody's like, maybe not. Anyway, it's Cannon Hotep saying, stay safe, stay well, stay strapped. Don't believe the official narrative, people. I'll holler at y'all.